All right, so far we learned direct variation last trimester, y equals a times x. In that equation, a is the constant of variation. For example, in the function y equals 4x, that is an example of direct variation. Any questions on direct variation? Okay, so quick to sum up here. Y equals a over x is inverse variation. A is the constant of variation. A will be very important throughout the lesson as we start getting into some examples. Example of inverse variation would be y equals 4 over x. An example that is not inverse variation, so this is not inverse variation, would be something like y equals 3 over x plus 1. That would not be inverse variation. No. Okay. Direct was y equals ax, and inverse was y equals a over x. Okay. So I'm going to analyze these three examples and determine whether or not they are direct or inverse or neither. Part 1, write the equation. That's what we did here. We said, hey, plug in x and y, go find a. Now I've got an equation. Y equals 28 over x. Beautiful. Now I've got the equation. I can use it for something. Let's use it for when x equals negative 2. So we went over here and said, hey, x equals negative 2. Plug it in. What is y? Oh, negative 14. Magical. So, there is an r. You just can't see it. So, we said, hey, if x times y is the same thing over and over again, then it varies inversely. It didn't, so it's not inverse. All right, let's go check direct. Can I erase this stuff? Remember, if these two things varied directly, then they would take the form y equals ax. In this, our constant of variation equals y over x. Right? So once again, I'm going to go through and I'm going to check a, but instead of multiplying x and y, I'm going to divide them to see if it varies directly or not. So this one we're checking direct variation. All right, so let's go check this one first. A equals 448 divided by 58. What do you get?
7.72.
7.72. Let's check the next one. A equals 424 over 62. What do you get? 6.83. Do they vary directly? No, they don't. Okay, so this is neither. Well, we learned that it's neither, right? Joint variation relates, instead of x and y, z, x, and y. Okay? Here's how you can remember joint variation. Joint variation, the x's and y's work together. Z varies jointly because x and y, oh no, hold on. Because x and y work together, they vary jointly. Okay? In this, once again, a is still the constant of variation, the all-important constant of variation. And it occurs when a quantity varies directly with the product of two variables instead of one. When we had direct variation, it was just y equals ax. We had one variable that was varying, or changing. Now we have x and y. It varies directly with the product of two variables. A very simple example is z equals 4x, y. Okay, that's an example. Notice the constant in that one is 4. Z varies jointly with x and y. When you see z varies jointly, that means joint variation. That means you're going to default to this equation. Z equals a times xy. All right, so when you see varies jointly, think joint variation. Okay? All right. Now, in this example, they give you z equals negative 75, x equals 3, and y equals negative 5. Before, in the examples previously, the all-important thing in the equation was a. A was so important. If we went and found a, we could get the equation. We were golden. Same thing with these examples. So let's go find a. Notice I have x, y, z. I'm missing a. So all I have to do is plug in everything and then go find a. So here we go. Z is negative 75. Negative 75 equals a times 3 times negative 5. Problem up. So 3 times negative 5, I'm sure you all know, is negative 15.
Divide it.
And what is negative 75 divided by negative 15?
5.
Okay. So all I did is divided negative 75 by negative 15. Now, once again, most students get to this point and they think, oh my gosh, I've got A, I'm a hero. I did everything Mr. Cresswell said. Except that's not an equation. A equals 5 is not an equation. So my equation is actually then z. We're ignoring this example for now. Sorry, I need more space. Z equals 5 times xy. And this is my joint variation equation. Find z when x equals, what was it, 5? Oh no, x equals 2.
2, y equals 6.
So 5 times 2 times 6. And what do you get for z when you do that?
Negative 45 and a half.
Z equals 60. Oh, sorry, I wrote below the thing. Z equals 60.